Hello there, complete with DLC viewer. I'm Jacob Griffin. This is Brad Knight. Are you to my left or my right?
I'm to your left. You sounded like somebody from one of those old Medicaid commercials. Hello there. Do you know somebody who suffers from X, Y, and Z?
Right. Well, E3 is right around the corner, and we thought that we would do some predictions. Brad, unfortunately, is a slacker and didn't do any predictions, so I guess my predictions are just the show predictions now.
Yes, because everything already got leaked, so we already know.
Here's what Complete with DLC thinks will be at E3, at every single E3 press conference, in order, except for PC gaming, because I literally had no clue what the hell they're going to show there.
And everything already got announced for PC gaming. But literally, they were like, oh, this company's showing up, they're showing this game, and this company's showing up, and they're showing this game, and so
exactly.
We know what's coming.
So, starting off with good old EA.
Oh, family favorite.
Exactly. Voted the worst company for like 4 years.
Yes.
Battlefield 1 multiplayer will be shown. Maps will be announced first for Xbox One. What do you think about that prediction?
You
think it's a pretty safe bet?
Yeah.
I think it's a safe bet that multiplayer will be shown. The reason why I think maps will be announced first for Xbox One is because at the end of the Battlefield 1 trailer, they show an Xbox One logo.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that we're going to see a heavy portion of the EA press conference be about Battlefield 1. Because I don't think they were expecting it to gain as much ground as it did.
Right.
It did very, very well. In terms of the eye of the public.
The thing is that it came out right after the kind of...
atrocious.
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare trailer. There will be 15 minutes of sports stuff. I will get bored. That's a pretty safe bet.
It's like saying there will be a Super Bowl this year.
Exactly. These are all safe bets here. This one, a little bit might be a safe bet, a little bit might not be. A new Sims expansion will be announced.
A new Sims 4?
Yeah, new Sims 4 expansion will be announced.
Maybe.
They always surprise me every year because they have like a huge like part about casual games, whether that be mobile or Sims, or like any PopCap game like Bejeweled or something like that. So, I wouldn't be shocked if a new Sims expansion would be announced. There hasn't been a new Sims expansion in a long time, so.
Yeah. I'm going through the Google image of The Sims right now, and not gonna lie, this grandma, terrifying.
Really?
Yeah.
I also think that maybe they might announce that Sims 4 is going to finally come to consoles, because Sims usually always comes to consoles.
I'm surprised it isn't already.
Yeah, I know. Sims 3 came out much quicker onto consoles than it seems Sims 4 has, but yeah. So I think that that'll be coming to consoles as well. Number 4, this is like my first like huge wishful thinking one. They will announce all 3 Skate games are backwards compatible on Xbox One, prompting a Skate 4 announcement.
That is, I think, the definition of wishful thinking. Because I do not foresee any Skate shenanigans.
I could definitely, the one I think that definitely will be happening is that the Skate backwards compatibility announcement will happen. Whether it's all 3, I don't know. It will definitely be Skate 3 at this point, because Skate 3 has already been announced to be backwards compatible eventually.
Yeah.
But I think they do all 3. The one that's wishful thinking is the Skate 4 announcement.
Yeah. I don't know. Just because everybody on, what was it, Instagram?
Yeah, it's on every single Instagram post that they put. It's just, everyone just comments Skate 4. Even I've gotten into it on a couple of them. Like, they posted one the other day that was like 5 days until E3, and then I commented 5 days until you announce Skate 4.
What if this is like all true, and they're like really upset that somebody somewhere leaked that Skate 4 is going to get announced and started this little movement without anybody knowing?
That would be...
And now they're all upset because like, well, come on, guys, it's going to be a really cool reveal and you ruined it.
I think it definitely would be shitty if they don't, like, at least acknowledge the movement that's happening.
Oh, if they're not going to announce it, they won't acknowledge the movement, because the only thing that'll do is bring negative attention to them. Like, listen, guys, we know you want Skate 4, but we ain't making it, so, sorry.
I think you can at least throw them a bone with the Skate backwards compatibility announcement.
Yeah, I just hope people don't take that the wrong way as like, oh, they won't make Skate 4, so they'll just make the other skates backwards compatible because they think that's enough. Like, no, just be happy for if you get anything, okay?
Exactly. I'm at least happy if I get to play Skate again, because like that's my one problem is I don't feel like pulling out my 360 to play Skate.
Yeah, and knowing 360s, there won't be any left in the world in a few years.
Exactly. And then number 5, this one is a little bit of a it might or it might not. I could have went with the safe bets of there will be a Mass Effect demo or there will be a Titanfall demo, but no, I went with something I wanted to be a little bit ballsy with my number 5 prediction. I had to limit myself to 5 here.
Okay.
They will show a trailer for Visceral's Star Wars game, which is not even supposed to be coming out until, I think, like 2017, 2018. So.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be for a while.
I think we'll at least get a trailer maybe explaining what's happening here. It'll definitely be a cinematic trailer. It won't be like a gameplay trailer.
Yeah, that's if we get that at all. I think if we get anything from these guys, it'll be like an announcement that it's coming. I don't know if they'll come straight equipped with a trailer yet.
They definitely need to have a Star Wars something at this.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't have a Battlefront this year, which was like their huge thing last year. So they need a Star Wars something or other, whatever that might be.
I mean, it's good business right now, right? Star Wars is selling like hotcakes again because we got new Star Wars movies. So
exactly.
We're going to get enough Star Wars video games to kill a small horse in the next few years.
So I think that mainly that being like the second Star Wars game that was announced with this deal at EA, I think that we'll definitely get an announcement of something like that. How crazy would it be if BioWare came out and said they were making Knights of the Old Republic 3? That would blow some minds.
And can I just say, you mentioned earlier about the Mass Effect Andromeda demo that we might get. I'd actually be surprised if we saw anything from that game at E3.
I think
it's been the very least so many times. I'd be surprised if they have anything they want to show.
At the very least, we're getting a trailer, probably.
That, I think, is probably the best case scenario is we get a trailer.
We'll get a trailer that'll explain the story, maybe some stuff that's going on in the universe. I think we'd get a demo, but I mean, from what you're saying, you actually make me thinking there.
Yeah, I don't think we'd get a demo. I'd be very surprised if we did.
I know we're definitely going to get a demo, though, of Titanfall. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I better see a sword.
Exactly. I want to see the sword. I want to see that grappling hook that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yes, and if I see a sword but not a grappling hook, I'm going to question the sanity of that studio.
Exactly. But now, we're going to move on to Bethesda.
Okay.
Skyrim Remastered announced, and the world collectively lets out a sigh of meh.
Yeah, they all collectively went, really?
Yeah.
Really, guys?
I don't have a problem with them coming out with a remastered version. I mean, I feel like this is just like... Because I remember there being a news story that they started work on Fallout 4 by porting it to Xbox, by porting Skyrim to Xbox One just to work on the engine.
Yeah, because it's the same engine.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like, yeah, why not? If you did all that work already, might as well just release it, you know what I mean? And plus, I assume that they want to expand their modding support for consoles.
That's what I think this really is they saw that modding on consoles did very well for Fallout 4, and Skyrim is a premier modding source, like second only to like maybe Minecraft, in terms of how much people mod it.
Yeah, probably.
So to get that on consoles would be a huge win for them, which is what I think this is about. This is very similar to the Last of Us deal that we had a few years ago with PS4, right? They came out with Last of Us, PS4 came out, and they're like, we need to get this on PS4, like, now.
I remember they announced the PS4, like, a couple months before The Last of Us came out.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited to play The Last of Us, so I ended up playing it on PS3. But then when it came to PS4, I got kind of angry.
I still haven't beaten that game.
I love that game. That game is so good.
I'll have to go back and play that, but I am collectively sighing with the rest of the world about this remaster thing. I understand its purpose, but I'm a PC Skyrim player, so to me it seems redundant. But to a console Skyrim player, this is probably the best news they've heard all day.
Probably, yeah. Number 2. This one is kind of already confirmed based on a leak, kind of not, and I added in my own little flair to it. Wolfenstein 2 is announced. Mecha Hitler is teased in the trailer.
Really? Would they do a Mecha Hitler?
I think they would. Honestly, because like a lot of fans of that series, they have a lot of love for the stupidity of Mecha Hitler.
You know,
and so
I think I'd be okay with it. To be honest, I think I'd be okay with it.
It's honestly like it's a big part of that first game because it's the final boss. And I remember that was like my one disappointment of the new one is that there was no real. Well, there was like they talked about Hitler, but there was no real like Hitler fight or anything. You know what I mean? I mean, at one point you go to the effing moon in that game, but Hitler, that's off limits.
Yeah.
So I think Mecha Hitler will be teased in the trailer, and it'll be a fun little thing, and the audience will go crazy for it.
I mean, it did very well when it came out. Everybody loves, like, it's up there with, I would say, Doom in terms of how much people like the single player campaign of that game. But much like Doom, there wasn't a lot of replayability to it, so
yeah.
I'm good with that. Not every game needs to be an open world, 600-hour, RPG like Skyrim or Witcher.
Yeah, I think if you put out a fun single player game, I'm more likely to come from that feeling more positive about it than if it has hours of stuff that I don't need to do. Like the new what's that game? Mirror's Edge. I was excited about that game, and then I found out that it was open world, and I was like, oh, that's gonna have tons of side quests that mattered like not at all.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna bog down the game.
Small tangent here. I don't know about you, but I feel like I haven't completed a game in a very long time because of this sort of RPG overhaul we've been in the last few years, where everything's a huge RPG. It feels just so much more complicated to complete a game, where a game like Doom, I can say, I sat down and I completed it. I beat Doom. Like, I don't know, to me that seems like way more satisfying, so I'm happy to see more of these single-player games coming out.
That is true. I mean, I love the open world genre, but with that genre, you feel like you never finish anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It feels like no matter what you do, you can always go back and, I still have to do that side quest, and I picked up this bounty, I have to go do that, and it's just, you don't get that sense of satisfaction of completion that you get with the other genres.
Yeah. Speaking of a game that's not very satisfying to finish, new Fallout DLC will be shown. I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. How many more are they slated for? One more, right? They say 4?
I forget. They were originally only supposed to do the 3, and that was going to be the season pass, and then they were like, we're going to make a lot more, so... I mean, you never know. It could be also more little ones like Automatron or Wasteland Workshop.
Yeah. I'm kind of okay with Fallout 4 getting more DLC, because it's a fun game, and despite the slack it gets for, being...
It's technical
difficulties, and despite the, people not sort of bashing on it for not being as as RPGs can be, because your conversations in that game really don't matter at all. They just give you 4 different ways to say yes.
Yeah, a lot of the choices in that game end up not mattering by the end.
Yeah, so... But, I mean, if you just enjoy the combat and you like shooting stuff, and with this new survival mode, I could literally be playing Fallout 4 for the next 3 years in survival mode, and I wouldn't beat it.
Right.
With all this DLC? Oh, God, no.
This one's a little bit of a pie-in-the-sky one. Prey 2 is resurrected from cancellation, and there will be a new demo shown.
Prey 2, huh?
Remember Prey 2?
I remember Prey 2, but...
I remember how cool the demo was for Prey 2. You were like a space bounty hunter, and I was like, this game looks rad. I want to play this game. And then, nothing came of that ever since. There was a little, insert in the Skyrim box, I remember, that had, Prey 2 is coming.
Oh, you're not the only one to think this.
Yeah.
Prey 2 could be revealed at E3 according to onlysp.com. I'm looking at Google as long as I know this.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that Arcane, the studio that makes Dishonored, because they opened up a new branch of Arcane, I guess, in Austin. And so they're saying that they could have taken over the slack of it instead of the company that was making it before.
Well, it's one of the video game hubs of the world, all right? Austin, Southern California, Washington State...
Canada, for some reason. There's a lot of Canadian studios.
Mostly Montreal.
Yeah.
So... I don't know. This is definitely a hopeful thing, but you know what? We've seen crazier things at E3, so I wouldn't say it's not possible.
Plus, I think it would bring the room down if it happened, because a lot of people were excited for it based on that demo.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it got canceled in the first place, because it was one of those games that a lot of people were looking forward to.
I think it was just one of those things where I think Bethesda even came out and said, this isn't hitting our Bethesda quality levels.
Yeah, they weren't happy with the game.
Yeah, so that's why they canceled it. So, I mean, if they can now have redone it and it's hitting their quality levels and it looks great.
I think what happened was, guys, we can't use the Skyrim engine for this. What are we going to do?
This game looks good. What are we doing? It runs well. And then my final announcement is Evil Within 2 will be announced. I mean, I think that game did well. It got some decent reviews.
Scary as all hell.
Yeah, a lot of people told me that. So, I haven't played it personally myself, but I've heard decent things about it.
My cousin's girlfriend played it. She was telling me about it, and she doesn't do very well with scary games as far as I know.
Much like you.
Much like me, yes. And it was, I don't know how far she got in it, but it's the parts I've seen, terrifying. Freaking terrifying. And I have no desire to go back and play that game.
I kind of want to try it out. I would if it was on sale, though. I don't think it would.
Yeah,
isn't
it like $40 right now still? Even I want to say it's like $40.
Maybe like 40, 30, I'm not sure. I haven't checked recently. It goes on sale on Xbox sometimes, I notice, but it's usually still too high for me.
Yeah.
So now we're moving on to Microsoft, though.
Oh my god, it's still $60 on Steam.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Never mind, then. Ugh. Continuing with the theme of the dead, though, at Microsoft. Dead Rising 4 will be announced, and it will be announced as Xbox exclusive, and a demo will be shown.
Yeah, I would. That has been rumored. That's been floating around that Dead Rising is going to make an appearance.
I think the reason why it'll go Microsoft exclusive is, number one, Capcom does not have a lot of money right now, so it makes sense that they would want someone else to, flip the bill for them.
Yeah.
On this, and Dead Rising 2 was the only one that was like really multi-platform, and it didn't sell any better on PlayStation than it did on Xbox, so why put the extra time and effort into putting on both consoles if it's just going to sell about the same anyway?
Yeah.
I assume...
No, go on.
I was going to say, I assume they have a good relationship with Microsoft.
Yeah. Microsoft doesn't burn a lot of bridges in terms of their deals with developers. I mean, there are some few examples of them not doing great with other developers, but they're generally... they're long-time users, right? They're not PlayStation where they bring in everybody, but the guys they bring in, they generally stick with.
Right.
But I'm kind of sad to see Capcom struggling a little bit because of all the older companies like Sega and Capcom and Konami and a lot of these older companies that felt really at home in the 80s and 90s. Capcom was one that I always had a personal affection towards. I always really did like the games they came out with and the games that they helped make. So I'm sad to see them in a state that they're in now.
I've always been a fan of random Capcom franchises. Like, I really love Mega Man, and I love Dead Rising. I don't have any affection to Street Fighter. I respect Street Fighter, but I'm not good at it, so I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But as it is, I'd be super excited if they announce a new Dead Rising, because I really like Dead Rising 3 a lot, and I'd like to play a new one. You know what I mean? I always get that kind of itch for a stupid zombie game like that.
Yeah. And
Dead Rising usually always fits that itch, because Left 4 Dead has just stopped happening as a thing. Prediction number 2, I think this is a safe one here. Xbox Slim announced for a $399 price tag. OG Xbox permanent price reduction will get reduced to $299, and the Xbox Slim will release in November.
Yeah. We're almost guaranteed to see an Xbox One Slim at this point, because this has been so much floating around for so long. I would be very surprised if we didn't. A funny little thing here. I googled Xbox One Slim. Mm-hmm. All the concept art for this is the ugliest console I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen an uglier console. And I'm including, like, the old, like, Atari consoles, the ones that look like monstrosities that were all like angled at weird ways, and I don't know.
I like the way the 2600 looks though, with the wood finish on
The
it.
wood finish looked nice, but like this concept art is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I really hope that the funniest thing my friend said to me was that they're gonna turn the Xbox from a VCR to a DVD player. Because right now it looks like a VCR.
And this looks like a DVD player, yeah. So it's pretty freaking spot on.
Yeah.
That's so ugly. That better not be what they announce.
Here's another one that'll it's a little pie in the sky here. A new Halo game is announced for a 2017 release, like a full-on next mainline Halo game.
All right, I'm glad you brought this up because I went on a small Halo rant the other day because I am not happy with the Halo franchise at this point.
Right.
I went back and I dabbled in Halo 5 again, and I realized something that I hadn't realized the first time I played through. I don't like Halo 5 at all. I don't not a fan of it. I don't like 4 either, but at least with 4 had a compelling story at least. Cortana made a heartfelt sacrifice. There was a lot of emotion in that story, and Cortana and Chief is probably one of my favorite duos in fiction. Not just in video games, but in fiction in general. I love the dynamic that they have.
I remember you liking it a lot, though, when you first got it, when you talked about it on the podcast.
Halo 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you at least saying that you liked it a little bit.
I liked it, and I realized why I liked it. Because the gameplay is fantastic. It plays like a fast Halo game, which I didn't know was possible. But going back, I absolutely hate the story.
Right.
It is honestly the worst story of this Halo franchise, and if they do another game, I pray to God they don't make it a main one. Make a spin-off title. Until they get their stuff in order, stay away from the main franchise.
See, I think the reason why I think it'll be a main one is because they usually do the spin-off games one year and then the main line the other year. And so this year we're getting Halo Wars.
Yeah.
And so I think next year would be a Halo 6.
Yeah.
Or at least a shooter Halo, I'll say, right?
I don't...
Maybe it's not mainline, maybe it is another spin-off one, but I think we'll get a shooter Halo next year.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do not like what the most recent management has been doing with the Halo franchise. The whole Chief versus Locke thing was a complete lie. Blue Team was non-existent. They didn't feel like a family like they're supposed to. They just follow Chief around mindlessly and ask questions that really didn't matter. And I don't want to rant too long, but I pray to God that prediction is wrong because I don't want another mainline Halo right now. I want them to fix what they're doing.
And then the next couple ones are boring, mainly because of their relationship with Microsoft. I think there will be a Battlefield 1 single-player demo shown. And number 5, I think there will be a Gears of War 4 demo shown.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm surprised that Gears of War 4 is a thing, though.
Why?
Because I feel didn't they say they were done after 3? They didn't want to
what's it? What's the name of that studio? Epic was done with it.
Oh,
Microsoft was going to
because
keep making them until the cows came home.
That's right, because Epic says no more single-player games because they're too expensive.
Well, no, even before that. I think after Gears of War 3, they were like, we're done making these games. And then People Can Fly, which is a studio that Epic owned, they made Judgment, and then this new studio that they made just specifically to make Gears of War games at Microsoft is named Black Rock or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm actually kind of sad to see if Epic finished the story they wanted to tell. Then if they're gonna do another Gears of War, don't have it affect the first 3. Do we know anything about I haven't looked into this. Do we know anything about...
You play as Marcus Phoenix's son.
Oh, okay. So that's not terrible then. As long as it's not the main cast of characters, because Epic did what they wanted to do. They told the story they wanted to tell, and I feel like it would be disrespectful to sort of pick up where they left off, where they think it should have stayed.
That game looks gorgeous, though. The graphics.
Yeah, the Gears of War franchise has always been very good at its storytelling. Or not its storytelling, its graphics. Its storytelling has been okay, too.
I'd like to check it out when it comes out. I don't know, though, if I will. We're going to move on, though, from Microsoft to Ubisoft.
The Ubies.
The Ubies. My number one's an easy prediction. Watch Dogs 2 demo will be shown, probably a mission or open world stuff.
Yeah, this is a given because I'm surprised they even announced it. Like, why announce it this close to E3? Why not just announce it at E3?
Yeah, I know. I think it's weird that they announced it and the release date. Like, if you want to show a trailer, like Bethesda did that, right, at their before their press conference, they showed a Fallout 4 trailer and then they went into like everything about Fallout 4 at their press conference, and then announced the release date at the end, and it was like a huge moment when they were like, "Oh crap, it's coming this year!" Like, I think if they just announced it, showed like the cinematic trailer, and then at E3 we got all this gameplay stuff, I think it would have been a lot better for them to do that. Plus the release date.
Very interesting choice from them.
Yes. My second prediction. Because this game was previously announced last year, a new South Park trailer will be shown, and release date will be revealed for early 2017. We're getting another South Park game. I think this one's called The Fractured Butthole.
Very South Park.
Very South Park. And it's not spelled Butthole. It's butthole.
Yeah, with a W.
Yeah. And I think we'll get a trailer. I don't know if we'll get like a gameplay demo or anything, because I doubt it will be really any different from the last South Park game. The last South Park game was fantastic, though. So if this one is even anything remotely like that, I can only assume that this is going to be an amazing game.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is going to be another big hit like the first one was.
Yeah, and I think the first one was like a real surprise hit for Ubisoft, too, because they bought it from THQ when THQ went under.
Yeah.
And I remember it too, like, it got delayed so many times, I was like, this game is not going to end up coming out good.
I don't even think Ubisoft expected it to do well.
Yeah, and then it came out and just, like, did gangbusters, I assume, because it's South Park, and they had, like, a whole, like, 3-episode arc, which was, like, the prequel to the video game.
Yeah. I hope, if anything, to improve on the first one, I hope this one has a little more replayability to it than the first one did.
Yeah, I want more quests and stuff in it, maybe.
Yeah, like, you don't gotta go nuts, so you don't gotta go, full RPG level. It's South Park, but, a little more depth would be appreciated.
I'd also like some DLC for this one, too, because, like, that's another thing that I think really didn't make me want to hold on to my copy of The Stick of Truth, was that I knew there was going to be really nothing coming for it, so...
That I'm surprised with, that there was no DLC. I was expecting at least one or two.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be standard nowadays, like, every game gets a DLC. So, although I guess it's sort of refreshing to, you buy a game, you play it, you beat it, you can sell it if you want, and that's it. Yeah. I guess it's sort of refreshing not to have DLC.
It is refreshing. I'd really like, though, a lot more of this. And I like everything they've been saying so far about it. Like, the writers of the show, Matt Parker and... Trey Parker and Matt Stone have been saying that after they finished the first game, they learned how to write a video game.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be much more, like, streamlined and won't get delayed and stuff, so...
Because writing a video game is very different to writing anything else, because you have very little... You don't have as much dialogue to play with and not as much screen time to play with as other mediums, so it's an adjusted feeling, definitely.
Yeah. Number 3, this is more of a jokey one. A pop star will be brought onto stage to show off Just Dance. They will perform their song. No one in the audience will be into it. Everyone will feel awkward.
There's always that one awkward moment at every E3.
It's usually at Ubisoft's press conference, too.
At least they're consistent, I mean...
Last year was the best, though, when they brought out Jason Derulo, and he went into the audience and tried to get people to dance with him, and nobody would get up and dance with him.
It's so surprising to me that somebody who works in the video game industry, especially Ubisoft of all people, like, they're, like, one of the biggest names, would not know how a room full of video gamers would react to asking to do something in public. Like, that to me is just incredibly odd. And Jacob muted his mic, so... I imagine something important is happening.
It's the dog. It's the dog.
Oh, okay.
I muted it so that way you could finish your point and then not have to worry about it. All right, you done, Josh? I guess so, because the guy walked away. Yeah, I mean, how else are they going to show off Just Dance? I mean, I get that they probably don't have to. Just Dance is like one of their biggest franchises, though. Like, it always sells every year.
It's still surprising to me.
What, that it sells every year?
Yeah, that it's like... It's one of those games that maybe it's just because I'm not big into them, and I feel a bunch of them come and go without much, hoo-ha. But
it's for casual people. It's for, like...
Those filthy casuals.
Yeah. It's for people who like to dance. It's for kids, you know. I like to play Just Dance a little bit, you know, once in a while.
I am the whitest person in a 5-mile radius. I couldn't dance if you paid me.
No, I'm terrible at it, but I still have fun with it. You know, I pick a song that I like and I just go for it.
I played DDR when I was like 12. Does that count?
I'm good. I used to be really good at DDR, and then I got fat.
DDR, the white man's dance game.
Exactly. Number 4, Ubisoft will take time to talk movies, and Michael Fassbender will come out on stage. There will be a new Assassin's Creed trailer shown.
Yeah, I feel like, much like Battlefield 1's going to be a lot of EA's press conference, movies is going to be a lot of Ubisoft's, because they got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. They got Assassin's Creed, they got Splinter Cell, they have
Division, Raving Rabbids. Obviously the most important out of that bunch. Right, that's the one that clearly can be translated to screen much easier than the rest.
The spin-off game on GameCube, one of the best party games I've ever played, hands down.
They made a TV show out of them.
Did they?
So I mean, who knows? Yeah, it was on Nickelodeon. So I mean, who knows? You know what I mean?
I'd see it. Listen, I went to watch the Lego Movie. Okay, at this point, my standards are about as low as they're gonna get.
Okay, I love the Lego Movie.
I mean, don't lie. Nobody walked into the Lego Movie expecting to love it. Everybody just went, we'll try it.
I looked at the trailer, I was like, it looks pretty funny, I'll give it a shot, and I left that theater with the biggest smile I think I've ever had on my face in a long time.
It was one of the most surprise hits I think movies have had in a long time.
When Han Solo and Lando show up in the Millennium Falcon, I think that was one of the greatest moments in movie history. And then I just ended off my E3 for Ubisoft with a no-shit prediction. Like every year, Ubisoft will show a surprise reveal, and it will probably be cool.
Yeah, Ubisoft's usually pretty good about doing the surprise stuff.
Yeah, Watch Dogs was that. I think Watch Dogs was the first year of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was Rainbow Six. Then it was Ghost Recon.
Yeah, so there'll be something this year that either nobody's expecting or somebody thinks is going to happen, but everybody else is calling crazy. There's always that one guy who gets everything right, and everybody's like, nah, you're out of your mind.
And finally, for the final set of predictions, we have Sony.
PlayStation.
The big man on campus.
Yeah, they got a lot to show here.
A lot.
COD Infinite Warfare demo will be shown. Multiplayer montage will also be shown. Some stuff from Modern Warfare Remastered. The rest of the maps will also be announced for Modern Warfare Remastered, and maps will come first to PlayStation.
I agree with just about everything there, with one exception. They will also get booed off stage.
I don't think they'll get booed off stage. People are respectful, at least.
Oh yeah, this is press. So if this was Gamescom, that'd be a riot.
Oh, if it was PAX, oh man,
yeah, they'd have to have security escort them off the stage. But yeah, we will see a lot. We're going to see a lot more of Modern Warfare than we will see of Infinite Warfare. That I can almost guarantee.
I think we'll at least get a demo of some of the space battles. I can't believe I'm going to say that. In Infinite Warfare.
Why is my Call of Duty getting space battles before my Battlefront? What are you guys doing?
I don't know. I think we'll see that one mission from the trailer when they first get to space and start having a giant space fight.
I'm not happy with this. And my chair's falling. Oops.
And then Modern Warfare, I think we'll just get a montage of some single-player stuff, and then they'll announce the rest of the maps.
That is most likely what is going to happen. I still want them to announce that Modern Warfare is going to be sold independently. That way I don't have to buy this piece of garbage.
I saw a great picture on Reddit the other day that I guess a random GameStop employee put up a sticker that says, pre-order Modern Warfare and get a free copy of Infinite Warfare with it.
That's basically what you're doing, isn't it?
Essentially,
I feel bad because Call of Duty gets bashed on so much, but, I mean, they're the reason that multiplayer is the way it is today. They're the one who formatted this whole thing. Like, they paved the way for this. They're a huge franchise. But, like, I can't help but not support them in this sort of situation. You're on your own, guys.
I don't want to, but I really want Modern Warfare.
Yeah, like, I don't, like, that's why I feel bad, because, like, I'm gonna buy it because I want Modern Warfare Remastered. But I don't want to support the fact that they keep making these rehash sci-fi shooters every year. Like, I don't want that anymore.
I hate that they've just moved to being complete sci-fi.
Yes.
Like, we already have plenty of sci-fi franchises. You know, we have Titanfall. We have Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, and you're not going to beat Star Wars Call of Duty. I mean, maybe you did this time because you have space battles.
And you have Modern Warfare, therefore you're going to beat any others Like, their sales are going to be higher than they've been in a while. I guarantee you. This is going to sell.
No, their pre-orders are really low right now. They're lower than they have been in like any year.
I saw that compared to they compared them to, I think it was Black Ops 3 at the same time, and it's got like not even half of what Black Ops 3 had at this time. But
Yeah,
I'm not terribly I'm not surprised because Black Ops is a name at this point.
But even still, like, Black Ops 3 did not do as well as the first two, mainly because everyone was like, I'm sick of the future shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's nuts, though, that their pre-orders are that low.
And people are just holding out. They're like, no, we're not going to pre-order. Wait till it's close to the release date. Pre-orders are going to start falling in because people are going to lose their resolve and go, well, fine, I want Modern Warfare.
Yeah. Number 2, Sucker Punch's new game will be announced, and going off of rumors, I think it'll be a game that ties into Spider-Man Homecoming.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, rumors have been saying that it's going to be a Spider-Man game, and it's supposed to come out next year, so I can only assume that, you know, they would tie it into Homecoming in some way. It makes sense that Sucker Punch would make a Spider-Man game, given that they're owned by Sony, and Sony still owns the rights, technically, to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. Plus, Marvel has been saying how they want to get actual good studios to make games for them. So,
You ever think maybe that was part of the deal for getting Sony to cooperate with giving Spider-Man over? Like, hey, listen, we'll give you Spider-Man, but you got to promise to give us like your most successful movie guy, Robert Downey Jr., for his first reboot movie. And then we got to get all these good games out so people really hook onto this Spider-Man. I feel like they're throwing all their pulling out all the stops for this one.
I would really love a Spider-Man game from Sucker Punch. I think that those guys have proved that they can do open world superhero stuff with
Infamous.
With Infamous, and so I think that, give them Spider-Man. I think they can make a great Spider-Man game.
I feel like the game's kind of underrated.
What, Infamous?
Yeah, it's a game everybody goes, you mentioned to them, they go, yeah, it was okay. It was a really good game.
Yeah, the first one was really good. I like the second one a lot better, and while Second Son is not my favorite, I think it's a very gorgeous game on the PS4, and I think it's very fun.
Yeah.
And it has Troy Baker in it, so...
Who doesn't want more Troy Baker?
I want more Troy Baker in everything. Troy Baker should be the voice actor in every video game for every character.
Well, we already have Nolan North for that.
It should be him and Nolan North.
I mean, there's really, when you get down to it, there are only like 3 video game voice actors in the world, right? You have Nolan North, you have the occasional Jean DiMaggio role when he gets bored, and then you have Troy Baker.
Yeah. I think it was even great that when they needed a brother for Nathan Drake in the new Uncharted, they just went, let's get Troy Baker.
He's the go-to guy.
Number 3, there will be a new Horizon Zero Dawn demo shown.
That got delayed.
Yeah, it got delayed to February 2017.
Yeah, which is sad because I was actually really looking forward to that game.
It never had like a concrete release date anyway. They just said that it was coming in 2016. So
yeah. So it is sad that it's delayed. This is essentially Tomb Raider meets like Far Cry meets like
Far Cry Primal.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a game with like robots in it. I was gonna say Metal Gear, but they're not Metal Gear robots. They're
like robot dinosaurs and robot deer.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's I was really, really looking forward to this game, and I still am. Like I'm still think I'm gonna pick this one up, but
yeah. Plus, it's made by Guerrilla, who usually makes the Killzone games. So this is a new kind of game for them, which I'm really excited to see.
I always like seeing game studios do a different type of game to what they're out of their comfort zone.
Number 4, there will be 20 minutes of VR shown.
Only 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we'll see quite a bit more. I think.
Nah, I don't think we'll see. I think we'll get a final lock-in on what the launch games are, and they'll be the final. They'll show off some of the final demos for stuff. Like they'll show rigs and maybe like Job Simulator and stuff like that.
I think you're gonna see. I think you're right about the time limit. I think we're gonna see maybe about 15-20 minutes worth of press conference time. But on the internet, you're gonna see reviews and ratings everywhere because they're gonna just push demos for VR as hard as they can at this E3. Because
Oh,
that's where
yeah.
VR shines at these sort of conferences. It's not talking about it on a stage. It's get this in the hands of as many press people as you can, and they're going to talk about it to their computers explode.
Yeah, I don't think that like there won't be a huge amount of VR on the show floor. I'm mainly just talking about the press conferences here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think 20 minutes is probably the sweet spot to show in there. It's kind of hard to show off VR in a demo capacity. I get that, but
All right, if they're going to do it, this is the time, Jacob. You've said this before. I've disagreed. But do you think we're going to see the No Man's Sky bundle with PSVR? This is their chance to do it. If they don't do it here, it's not happening.
when's VR coming out? October?
October, yes. And No Man's Sky is in August.
Don't even stop right now. This is an important moment, Josh. I think we will get the announcement that it will be in VR at this press conference. That's it. That's all we're seeing of No Man's Sky. Maybe another trailer. That's it, though. I don't think we're getting like another gameplay demo like we usually get.
So it's going to be compatible with VR, but not bundled. Is the prediction we're going with?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be bundled
All right.
anymore. When I thought it was going to be just a downloadable like maybe 40 at the most game, I was like, oh yeah, they could bundle that. But now that it's like a $60 full game, I don't know if they would bundle that in with it.
Predictions have been made. Oh,
I think what they'll bundle in with it is maybe like Rigs, maybe that other Gorilla game that they have, that like weird like robot mech football thing.
yeah.
Or even too, they're doing that PlayStation VR Worlds bundle with all the like Move controllers and stuff.
All right, ready? I'm going to throw my pie in the sky here.
Okay.
I think if they're going to do it, I'm not saying that they're going to do a bundle, but if they do it, here's how they got to do it, right?
Do.
Yeah. We're children, really. If they're going to do this, they got to do it like this. They'll say, No Man's Sky is going to be compatible with VR. It's going to be bundled. And this third one's probably the most important. If you've already purchased it, you have the ability to upgrade your purchase into that bundle with PSVR. Because there are a lot of pre-orders right now, and they're going to lose a lot of people if they have to go cancel their pre-order and re-pre-order for the VR version. So
Now, do you think that they would just change over those pre-orders to here's the one with No Man's Sky?
I think I'm talking about pre-orders for No Man's Sky for pre-purchases. If you've pre-purchased No Man's Sky and you want to play it on PSVR, you have the option to upgrade your pre-order into a bundle for PSVR.
Interesting thought.
I think if they're going to do it, that's what they're going to do. But I think it's a very, very slim chance that they do that. They'd be pulling an Ubisoft if they did that.
Like a big final reveal, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that'd be a drop the mic moment, I think.
Here's an even bigger pie in the sky, bigger reveal. The show ends. Oh no, the show, lights go down. Logo comes up on the screen. Naughty Dog. Last of Us 2 trailer shown. It'll have new characters in it, not Joel and Ellie.
I would be...
Drop the mic.
I'd be okay with that, because it was a... yeah, why not? That's fine.
I think only will be a trailer at this point, because they have two teams at Naughty Dog, so you know that they're working on something else with their other team.
Yeah. Their storytelling is one of the best in the industry. They have an ability to create an amazing atmosphere with their games, and it would be a shame for them not to use that. And I don't care what form that takes. If that takes the form of another Last of Us game, I'm okay with that.
I mean, I want another Last of Us game. I really want it to be new characters. I don't want it to be the continuing adventures of Joel and Ellie. Because I think, like, their story was really good, and it kind of came to an end.
Yeah, like...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, what they've done is done, and, give us more insight into the world through different eyes. Because maybe if they want to do another duo, then maybe this duo sees the world in a different light than Joel and Ellie did. Maybe they're surviving differently. They're doing, there are so many more possibilities to explore their universe when you expand the amount of characters that you can have.
I would really, I would like to see what maybe other parts of the country look like. And sure, while there are, like, some threads that are left unresolved at the end of The Last of Us, mainly with the whole Joel having killed all the Fireflies thing. Spoiler alert, by the way, I'm sorry if you haven't played The Last of Us by now.
Nice to say spoiler alert after you've said the spoiler.
I completely forgot the fact that some people might not have played it, but I mean, this game's been out since like 2013.
Yeah.
If you
Just edit in
had the chance
a little fire alarm with a spoiler alert warning.
yeah,
I think I did a tornado siren when I did it for the podcast.
if you still have that sound effect, just send it to me. But yeah, so like I totally think that we'll be getting this brand new characters and stuff. I think that would be a smart thing to do, though, instead of just saying, hey, here's Joel and Ellie like 5 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mainly because I have an emotional attachment to those characters, and I just don't want to see like I doubt it will be a subpar sequel, but if it is a subpar sequel, I don't want to see their like legacy ruined by that.
Yeah, it's why it's such a big gamble, and why this is sort of, it's unlikely, because like that game was one of the few games in video games where it was received fantastically across the board. Everybody loved it, and everybody still loves it. So, you know, wanting to risk that perfect reputation is a big gamble, because it's going to be hard to live up to that game. Because now, before, the first Last of Us had nothing to compare to, right? It was the first of its series, it was the first of its name. It only had its own merits to stand on. But the second game is going to be compared infinitely to the first. So, the second game is always harder than the first. That's why good sequels are so few and far between.
Another pie in the sky one that I had for Sony, but I didn't get to write down because I only had a limit of 5, is that Red Dead Redemption will be shown on their stage.
I would be okay with that.
What form that takes, whether it be trailer, gameplay demo, whatever.
If we see anything, it'll be a trailer, I think. A short announcement video.
Imagine if there's a long gameplay trailer, though.
Would you expect it to play much differently than the first game? I would expect they'd keep almost everything the same.
No, I mean, I'm sure they would change some things. I'm sure they'd fix the shooting's a little awkward in the first one.
Yeah.
So I assume they'd probably change it over to the way like GTA 5 has it with its shooting. They probably keep their melee system because they had a pretty decent melee system in that game. I think mainly they'll show off the size of the maps and maybe the variety of environments, sort of thing. Other than that, though, like I don't think a lot of stuff has changed. It probably just looks a lot prettier.
Yeah. But I think that's every conference. I think that's all of them, all 7. Right? Let me look at my note cards here, because I had to write down all the conferences. Yep, we covered EA, Bethesda, Microsoft. We skipped PC Gaming because everything's already announced. Ubisoft and Sony. So yeah, we've covered everything, Jacob. We're done.
The only thing we didn't talk about was Nintendo, but that's because they've talked about what they're going to talk about. So.
Yeah, they said Zelda mostly only, and except for that one Q&A on Wednesday about Pokemon Go.
Yeah, other than that, like...
I actually do want to check that out. I'm sad that they're not doing any console talks this year.
It doesn't make any sense why at this point they don't. Do you think, though, that maybe they'll pull a surprise and mic drop talk about the NX? Or even show the NX version of Zelda?
That would be... Do you want to talk about pie in the sky? We're throwing a lot of pies in the sky. Have you noticed who's wasting all these pies? This is irresponsible of us.
It's pies that nobody cares about. It's boysenberry.
Okay.
Who wants a boysenberry pie?
I'm convinced boysenberry pies don't actually exist. It's something people make just to waste. Like those are the pies you make at like pie throwing things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also when clowns put pies in their faces, why they always look so mad because they're boysenberry. But I think if they were to do that, that would be incredibly out of character for them, because they are probably the most scripted, the most well-practiced, and the most routine company at E3.
I think it's a shake-up, though, that Nintendo really needs to, like, do something differently with their company and run it... Oh, no, I'm not saying, like, run it completely differently, but, like, just do something that's, like, out of character for Nintendo,
well,
you know what I mean?
This NX is their Hail Mary with consoles, right? Because
Definitely.
The GameCube is... a lot of people love the GameCube, but it didn't sell very well. The Wii U did not sell very well. They only broke even on it in, like, 2014. Or, like, or early 2015, so they not doing very well on that either. It does not selling very well. The Wii U sold all right. It sold pretty well, actually. But it didn't have a long lifespan, right?
Mm.
It was around for a while. It had some third-party titles. It was a good console in and of itself, but they needed more than that. This console for them needs to be a hit. So I think what they're doing is they're worried that at this stage of their console development, they want to show it when it's at its peak. Like, they want to blow minds with this console, and they don't think they can do that yet, so that's why they're hiding it. That's my guess anyway.
This is completely off topic, and it's kind of the final thing I want to talk about. Do you think that if the NX comes out and doesn't sell that well, do you think that Nintendo goes third party after that?
Do I think they go third party?
As in, like, they
publish.
They take the Sega route.
No.
Really?
I think Nintendo is... The difference between Nintendo and Sega is Sega had very little success out of the 90s when the big transition was made from 2D to 3D. The Mario 64 era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sonic didn't transfer very well. Didn't transfer well at all, and that's why Sonic is struggling so much. Part of the reason why Sega is struggling so much. They didn't have any titles, really, that transferred well into that 3D era. Nintendo transferred very well into that 3D era. Some would say that is some of their best games are in that 3D era with Nintendo, with Mario 64, with the Pokemon titles, with the N64 in general. So I think they have much deeper pockets, and they have much longer to go before they're forced to go to somewhere. They're forced into third party. I'm not saying they won't go third party out of willingness. Like, they just say, you know what, maybe it's time for a change. We'll try this and see how it goes. But I think they'll license their other IPs onto Nintendo consoles, but it'll be a cold day in hell when they give other consoles the right to Nintendo IPs. They're holding on to that until they're bankrupt.
The thing that I think here is, like, at some point you got to look at it and, like, think about what you're doing here, right? Because, like, while everyone loves the N64 and the GameCube, they didn't sell that well. The Wii came out and only sold well because, like, grandmas could get into it because they just wanted to play bowling, you know what I mean? So, like, everybody bought a Wii. And then with the Wii U, it came out and it was a big thud.
And to that, I blame marketing. Like, for the first year of Wii U's existence, I thought it was an extension to the Wii.
Yeah, the name didn't help at all, but, like, it just came out and was, like, a big thud, wet turd hitting the ground, right? But, like, with like, you gotta eventually look at it and just say, listen, our systems are not selling well. So if the NX comes out and doesn't sell well, I think that they'll honestly have some, like, their investors breathing down their neck and being like, hey, maybe it's time that we reshuffle some things around and think about what we're doing here, because we keep putting all this money into hardware development and marketing for these systems, and they're doing nothing for us.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get too much into this debate, because you and I have had this debate several times, and it always lasts long. But hardware and software are two different things. I think if this NX doesn't sell well, they will reconsider how they're doing their consoles. They might even reconsider doing consoles at all. Maybe they'll just stick to handhelds. But I think that's sort of a long shot, because although their consoles don't sell well, they do have a pretty devout following. So I'd be surprised if they gave up entirely on consoles. But as far as their IPs go, it'll be a cold day in hell before they give it to anybody.
I really think that eventually one day we will get the Nintendo that is just like Mario's on PlayStation now.
Yeah, I would say if things are going the way they're going, we'll see Nintendo IPs in, I would say, 10 years on other consoles.
I think even less. I think about 5.
No, I think that's too soon. They really need to be in dire straits to be forced to do that, and they're nowhere near that yet. They're not doing as good as they were in the early 2000s, but they are nowhere near in the situation where they need to license out their own IPs. But we're running long here, so we should probably wrap this up.
We're running long. We've gotten completely off topic from E3.
Well, Nintendo's at E3, so it's not off topic.
Yeah, I guess so. But this has been the Nintendo E3 prediction show.
Yes. You want me to run through the spiel?
Yeah, run through it quick,
All right,
though.
so if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at completewithdlc@gmail.com. That's going to be the best place where you can send us all your questions, comments, concerns, complaints, whatever you want to send us. Go through the email, and we will respond promptly. If you have a question for either Jacob or myself specifically about any of the things that we talk about on either the podcast or any of these prediction style or any of the YouTube shows, anything we do, put either Jacob's name or my name in the subject line or in the body of the email, directing it at one of us. I will make sure the correct person answers you, and then we'll all be happy. If you want to just keep up to date with all the show stuff, then head over to Twitter. Complete with DLC is on Twitter. That's where all the episode titles, all the information about the episodes go up when they're live streamed, when they're not live streamed, when they go up on Soundcloud, when all the things that are happening, all on Twitter. We're on YouTube, Complete with DLC on YouTube, but we're a little difficult to find right now because we can't have a custom URL yet. So to find us, type in Complete with DLC in the search bar, no spaces. Then when it searches, tell it to actually search for Complete with DLC because it'll search for something else first, and we'll be the first at the top of the list. If you want to catch us live, head over to twitch.tv/completewithdlc. You sensing a pattern here yet?
Yeah.
That's where we live stream some of the podcast episodes as well as some of the other stuff that we do. Well, you're welcome to hop in the chat and talk to us. You'll most likely end up on the show because we answer the chat during the show anyway. So if you want to interact with us there, that's what's always welcome. If you want to catch any of the podcast episodes, head over to iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Those are the... He doesn't like Stitcher, I guess. Head over there and use whatever review software that you can that you are given to give us a review. How are we doing? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? Please use the thumbs up, the thumbs down, the smiley faces, the stars, the arrows, whatever they give you. We will take it into account and we will gladly accept any criticism you have of us. But that is all the show information that I can think of. I am at Calgny, KLGNE. I am Brad1261 on Battle.net. Jacob is It's J Griff, ITSJAYGRIFF on Twitter. You can find him just about anywhere else at It's J Griff as well. I believe that is all the personal information that we have.
That's everything.
That's everything.
This has been the Complete with DLC E3 predictions. I'm Jacob Griffin.
I'm Brad Knight.
And we'll see you on Tuesday with our thoughts on everything from E3.
Stay tuned.